that day I was doing this exercise at the thing, and I'm writing it up on my notes, and I'm like, what's my word? Is it pray drive? Is it boldness? Is it expansion? And I'm sitting at lunch with Renee Rodriguez, who is incredibly smart, and we're just sitting there eating lunch, and he goes, I got your word. And I said, okay. I said, what is it? He said, activation. I said, why is that? He said, because you activate something inside of people. Boldness, pray drive, expansion. He said, these are all byproducts of what you actually do for people. Rory Vaden talked about a concept that I really love based on a guy named Peter Sheehan. And Peter Sheehan, Zach, said that there is an imaginary wall between being known and unknown. And over here, you're obscure, right? Over here, you're unknown. And is that a frustrating place to be? Gosh. It's like you're really good, but you're really unknown, and it really sucks because you're unknown and you want to be known, and it's like you have something of value, and then over here, you're known. And there's this imaginary wall in between. It's like, oh my gosh, if I could just get over there. And this ties into being a person of interest, because the way Rory Vaden said you get over there is you get really clear on the skill and the problem. And you actually get it down to one word. And you are a pure specialist. At that one word. And see, a lot of people think I'm going to watch what they do and do what they do, when that's really not how you become known in the world. You really pick a word and pick a problem. And you become known. You become a specialist. Now, that day I was doing this exercise at the thing, and I'm writing it up on my notes, and I'm like, what's my word? Is it pray drive? Is it boldness? Is it expansion? Is it, right? And I'm sitting at lunch with Renee Rodriguez, who is incredibly smart. And we're just sitting there eating lunch, and he goes, I got your word. And I said, okay. I said, what is it? He said, activation. Activate. I said, why is that? He said, because you activate something inside of people. Boldness, pray drive, expansion. He said, these are all byproducts of what you actually do for people. And so I go, okay, if my word is activate, let's just pretend that's the word, then you become known as the #1 leading authority in the world. Right? And if you just go back and you think about all the people who become known at some point, I always think Jim Collins became known because he was a great researcher. He would study companies for 5 years, then he would write Good to Great or a book. Cardone became known for 10X. Milet had Max Out. Kiyosaki had Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like, that's really what you know these guys for, right? And these girls. So it's like, what's your word? Brene Brown, shame, right?
But what if your word is too niche? What if your word or what you're good at is too niche?
I don't know if there's any such thing as too niche or too niche, depending on how you say it. I don't know if there's such a thing, because that actually
wouldn't that be better?
What are you saying?
it could be that is actually what it needs to be.
We've done this exercise, and you and I have done this exercise before, and every time it comes back to sponsorships.
Yep.
I am the #1 authority, as you say, of helping people build sponsorships. But when I start talking about where I build sponsorships, it's the nonprofit world.
Yeah.
And that's a limited point there. So how do I expand that to where that now is not just that niche, sorry, I pronounced it wrong, but the niche, now it's available.
Well, I'm from Woodbury. We say niche in Woodbury. We say niche in Woodbury.
I'm an Oxford.
If I was in LA, we say niche.
I don't know that I've ever actually heard of
Now, depends on where I'm at on how I say it. Okay? If I'm in Hollywood, it's niche. If I'm in Woodbury, it's neat. If I'm in Alabama, it's niche. Okay? Now, here's my point. I don't think, if we go back to the exercise of breaking Sheehan's wall, building sponsorship is not the word. It's something you do.
It's like connection.
It's like there's something deeper that you do that builds effective sponsorships. Does that make sense? Like I thought my words were prey drive. Well, prey drive is a byproduct of being activated. Okay? So it's like if I am the leading authority at activating what? A boldness inside of people, a quantum leap inside of a person, right? It's like, okay, what is your word? So this is a very important exercise because when you're thinking about becoming a person of interest, you're going to become known for something. Now, you got to choose what you're going to be known for, right? I was known as a championship women's basketball coach. Even when I go to the grocery store in my hometown, that's how people still see me. They don't see me like you see me, as Coach Burt that you see. They see the high school basketball coach that built a powerhouse. When I go to church, that's how they see me. That's Coach Burt, the girls basketball coach. They don't see 22-time author. They don't see greatness factories. They just say he's doing big things. He's a motivational speaker. That's what they say around my hometown. I'm a motivational speaker. That's the only way they know how to describe it. So I think about J.T. Fox. J.T. Fox wants to be known, and Jerry, you could probably speak to this because you've gone through his coaching, as a deal maker. He's really out in the world to do one thing, do deals. He wants to partner with people and do deals. He does run a coaching business, and he does coach people, but he doesn't want to be a coach. Right? I remember speaking in up in Long Island somewhere, and it was me and Grover and Cardone and Brad Lee. That was a great lineup. And we're all backstage, and Grover's like, what are you gonna, what's gonna be your offer today, Coach? I know you're gonna do something. You're gonna invite him something. I said, well, I'm thinking about coming back to Long Island, spending a day with these people for $9.97. So we had like 800 people there. I'm gonna try to get 50 people to pay $9.97, and I'm gonna pick up an extra 50,000, and I'm gonna come back and spend a day on a Saturday up in Long Island, right? And I said, Tim, what are you going to offer? Tim Grover. And he said, I'm going to speak, sign books, and I never want to see these people again. Now, here was his point. He does not want to do what I do. He doesn't want to coach. He likes being a celebrity. I'm Tim Grover. I wrote the book Relentless. I work with Michael Jordan. I'm going to come in. Everybody knows who I am. I'm going to shake hands. I'm going to be somebody. Which for years, he was backstage. For 13 years, he was behind the scenes, just with Jordan. Then 5 or 6 years with Kobe Bryant, then X number of years, right? So for 22 decades of his life, nobody knew who he was. He was just behind the scenes. Now he's out front. So you say, what is his real skill set? Is it teaching you winning? Is it teaching, right? And that's what he's known for. So if he gets $50K to come speak or whatever, he comes in and speaks for an hour, he likes that, and he leaves. That's his business model. But he wrote the book Relentless, and he became known for Relentless, right? No matter how many books he writes after this, Relentless was the one that came out that made him somebody. So the reason I'm telling you this is because when you see these people, it's like problem, solution, vehicle. I'm going to expand. If you ever hear Cardone talk about this, he said, I could never build $1 billion coaching company, but I could build $1 billion real estate company.